All right, guys, I just wanted to be part of the cool kid group and show you guys IRL deck tech. As I put in my post, I won a 23-person local with Luffy. A big question I got asked out throughout the whole event was, so why Luffy over Zoro? Well, it's just the overall Dawn efficiency and the things that having that extra Dawn per turn allowed me to do. If you didn't know, or if you haven't heard my opinion on it, Luffy kind of beats Kid in a way that Zoro can't. We're still as aggressive as Zoro in like the matchups where that matters, but when it comes to Kid specifically, we're allowed to approach the game from a more mid-range style and just carry out like just board advantage the entire way. So with that, let's jump into some of the deck. So we're running 4-0 Tama. Obviously, this 4-0 Tama package is necessary. She's an awesome 2K counter, and she combos with our Jet Pistol. So that's really big for dealing with 8-drop Kid, 7-cost Kid. Anything below 6K just gets one shot. We're running our 4 Nami, of course. This is one of the key cards in our deck that just helps tie the whole deck together. Just having the ability to search the top 5 is amazing. What I'm doing differently than Zoro is we're running 8 blockers. So believe it or not, this extra set of blockers comes in a lot because we're able to aggress the board with our Robin, our Zoro, our Luffy, our other rush characters, and then be able to stabilize the board with these blockers and just give our opponent a big headache because they can't swing into our creatures. So they have to decide, well, do I swing face? Do I try and whittle down the blockers, even though I'm running, what was it? 4, 8, 11 2K counters. And then I'm also running this Red Hawk counter here as well. So we have a good amount of defense in the deck to just, like I said, keep our board alive and putting pressure on our opponent. Another big difference between our list and something like Zoro is our Trafalgar Law here. This actually came up today against Kid in a very big way. Being able to give something minus 2K, stick a 5K body on the board, which is huge, and then combo off with our Nico Robin, who's able to attach one of our Rested Dawn, whether I'm on the play or on the draw, was pretty big, and allow her to swing thanks to our leader ability. And then I can still put more Dawn to play another blocker that turn, or I can swing 6K with my leader. These little micro interactions add up to a lot in the end, especially against those mid-range matches. So let's talk about our rush package here. We have our 4 Zoro, of course. You can't play red and not have Zoro. Our 4 unblockable Luffy. This won me my final game of the day in conjunction with the Zoro. He was unable to answer this for 2 turns. So being able to stick this on the board and have it survive is huge. Thanks to our blocker package, our 2Ks, and our counter events. But this Zoro won me my final game. He just couldn't handle the consistent pressure. I was able to swing leader, this Luffy. I was threatening board with an Ami as well. It was just too much for my Dofi opponent in the final to keep up with. Other key cards, this 6-cost rush Luffy seems like a joke at first, but honestly, having that mid-range threat of being 6-cost, and thanks to our leader ability, being able to trigger it immediately in a way that obviously Zoro can't, is pretty big. We run the 1 of Ben Beckman. I was trying this out. This honestly could just be a 4th law. But like I said, I was trying them out. I didn't really have the situation come up. But if you're able to stick this before they can resolve 8-cost Kid, it's a nightmare. Just 7-cost, 9,000 power is huge. Small things to note, into Kaido, it's not the worst. Because if you can resolve this, their 9-cost Kaido can't counter it. And you're able to stick a very powerful body on the board to pressure their life without any Dawn investment for 9. Final addition is this Shanks here. I saw him once in the Red Mirror. Unfortunately, my opponent was playing to survive and not playing to win in that game, and he actually tried to kill our Shanks to no avail. It was just too big. But aside that red match in green, this is really big for answering 8-cost Kid just because he can't be blocked by their cheap blockers. So if you say Pistol's Law before you resolve your Shanks, they have to block 10k just by this. And then our final event card of the deck is our Diablo Jambe. This card was an all-star today. I actually got this on our Nami turn 1. And by the time the end of the game came around, our opponent forgot that I had this in hand. And he resolved 7-drop Kid with, I think, a beige and a killer blocker from the turn before. He killed our unblockable Luffy, but then completely forgot that I could just Diablo Jambe him when he had no life and win the game. And that's exactly what happened. So again, Luffy, super underrated. Zoro, while very good, doesn't have this Dawn efficiency. He has to play the 1-drop Nami, which, by the way, for my friends playing Zoro, that card seems really good, but it's very medium if you don't have it turn 1. Literally, after turn 1, it's a dead card. I forgot to mention, we have this Monkey D. Luffy. I had to use 2 Brook just because it's so hard to get this right now. But if you have the means to, run 2 additional of these guys, because this is really good into purple. It's not terrible into green or the mirror for that matter, but just being able to attach 2 Dawn, again, thanks to our leader, and swing 7k is very important. Brook kind of fills that role by attaching 2 to our leader, but it's definitely not the same. I would prefer to have 3 of these guys. But that's our deck. If you guys are interested, my matchups for the day were a bye. I'm sorry, my dog is very needy and she needs hugs. So round 1 was a bye. Round 2 was Kid. I was able to Law and Nico Robin him into Oblivion. He couldn't answer it. I killed like 2 Okikus thanks to that. So I carried advantage the whole way. Round 3 was into the Zoro mirror. Like I said, our opponent made a very fatal mistake. Instead of playing to try and win and set up a turn where he could, he tried to swing my board a little too much and paid the price. Round 4 was into Kid again. Diablo Jambe. I won off the back of Unblockable. And then our final game into Dofi was intense, let me tell you. But if you didn't know, guys, Jet Pistol's a good card. I saw all 4 copies of that and killed both his Boa Hancock, his Gecko Moria. I made him trade his Kuma and then killed his Pacifista off the Kuma trigger. Like, that's a very important card in the matchup. And being that I was able to see all 4 copies thanks to 2 Nami and then just natural draw was huge. And then just our late game rush was too big. He ended up ending the game with 2 Mihawk and a Dofi in hand that he couldn't play, because if he had taken the time off to do that, I would have won the game. So that's Rush Luffy. Hope you guys like the deck tech. Let me know what you guys want to see in the future. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Peace.